So for my last reflection for PIDP 3240 Media Enhanced Learning, I thought I'd do a podcast. Just got given a new camera by TRU, so what a great way to try it out. Looking forward, after this class is finished, I can definitely say that media is going to be brought heavily into my classroom. I know that we're still really a face-to-face classroom, and I'm very glad that we got given permission to continue to be face-to-face. But it's definitely going to change going forward. I think we're looking at smaller classrooms with a lot more of a flipped classroom environment. So going forward, making more educational videos, using programs like Edpuzzle, where I can take videos I've made and making sure that they have the information that I want to get across is used and taught and observed. I think it's going to be a great example of how I'm going to increase my media enhanced learning. I've started to mess around with infographics. I've definitely used the animated educational videos as well. I've played around with those a little bit. I don't think they're going to have as big of an impact in my classroom as having me in front of the camera or having one of the other instructors, but I can see a role for them and some of the other the lessons that need to be taught, maybe stuff like food costing or lessons on safety and sanitation. I think I could see use for them there, but for the real learning of how to create products and what's required out of the ITA, a lot of that's going to come from online educational videos or videos that I can show in the classroom. Really curious to see the way that teaching goes forward. I know today, as I post this, they're just about to have the video from Bonnie Henry and Adrian Dix about what's going to happen in September, which will, I'm sure, change next week, the week after in September. So just kind of watching as things happen. We are all on different media forms. I'm watching. I had to take a break right now. I'm just watching the live Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google executives testify in front of the House hearings and watching the way that their businesses are under the microscope right now. And what's going to happen with their technologies or with their business models going forward. I think that's going to really affect how we use media going forward as well. So all these different aspects are kind of under the microscope, and I've had the time to kind of play around with this media. I know I just went and bought brand new Samsung S20 a couple of days ago and have been doing nothing but watching videos on why I should buy it, why shouldn't I buy it, how I can use it, how I can manipulate it. I think that's going to be a valuable tool for me going forward. Also talking with a friend who's a video journalist at CFJC and him talking about building us some camera setups so I'm able to create videos in our classrooms. I think those are going to be huge going forward. Getting screens into our classrooms. I know I've always used things like Google as a way for students to say, hey, you want to do a recipe, you've got some chicken or you've got some ingredients, Google it, see what comes up, and then from there you can kind of start figuring out what you are going to do with that product. Or looking at a bunch of different recipes and figuring out from your skill set which ones you know will work, which ones won't, and then kind of coming up with something that works best for you. I know I've used a lot of PowerPoint presentations in the past, and looking at them now I feel like they're really dry. So I want to figure out ways to increase the interaction with my podcast, with my PowerPoints, instead of just me reading through my slides, which again I've learned is a horrible way to do it. Don't have all the words on your slide, read it verbatim. So I'm going to look into that as well. Going forward, this whole PIDP as a whole has really helped to increase my knowledge of media, how to approach it. So it's been a great bridge for me going from full-on trade of running restaurants to being able to look at what's required out of the students or what I'm trying to teach them, and then all these different ways that I can reach them with the new set of learners, the new technologies that are available, instead of kind of how I learned, which was you read the book, you come in and you do the product, or you will look at an instructor, he tells you, and then you do it, and then they grade you from there. So it's going a lot more from monkey see, monkey do, to lots of different ways of engaging learners. I think that's a great way, because looking at the eclectic group of learners that I get is needed to as many different ways to reach them as possible. Also, I think for engaging with the cohort, trying to figure out what's going to work best for me to kind of create that message board. I know that you used it in this course was the Twitter, but what is it going to be? Is it going to be WhatsApp? It's going to be Messenger, a Facebook group, a Google group. I kind of want to play around with those two as well. And I know WhatsApp works great for me. Facebook seems to work great as well. We have Moodle. I mean, my course has been developed off Moodle for the last few years, and I've been using that for probably about 5-6 years now. Using Moodle, I love that platform. So going forward, I am going to definitely embrace the media. That seems to be the way we're going. Looking at the way classrooms are forced to be set up with this pandemic, and also looking at the way learners are and making this information more readily available and taking advantage of these resources as opposed to just bringing them into my classroom and cooking. I can use the best of both worlds to get a classroom that's going to be more encouraging, more engaging, and just better for the students. I can't wait to see the next group that's going to be changing the restaurants, because they're definitely going to need a new wave of people to come in and help them to figure out how to manipulate this new world and run this ship. So thank you, Brian. I've enjoyed this course, and hopefully I can continue to ask questions kind of going forward. Cheers. Bye.